Okay, so today we're going to talk about how I fixed this weird startup problem that I had on my turbo busa. So I'll give you some of the specs on this thing real quick. It's basically an RCC stage 1 kit with a little bit more stuff. It's moving a little bit more boost. I'm set at 46 PSI for my fuel. I am running a SNITS scavenger pump for my oil return, which, man, if you turbocharge your busa, it's a Gen 2, just plan on buying one of those. I had all sorts of smoking problems without it. So anyway, something that I noticed, and it's kind of like a false positive for a failing motor on a Gen 2 busa, is when I would start the bike and it was cold, it hunted for RPM really bad. And it seemed like it was having trouble running, almost like it had like a bunch of vacuum on one cylinder, or a lack of vacuum on one cylinder. And it seemed like the idle air control was having to bring the RPM up. And it ended up being that it just needed more fuel. So on a Gen 2, when they start to run lean in a turbo application, you will smoke like the lands and the rings and really the piston, because they're aluminum, they'll start to like break down. And it'll cause that before it fails. You'll notice on these cold starts, it's doing this thing where it doesn't really want to come up to idle after you start it and it's been cold. And then it runs for a little bit and it figures itself out because, you know, the bike itself has a way to bring that up. So electronically. Well, in my case, like I did all this work and determined there was nothing wrong with my motor. So after I got done panicking, I figured out that I just need to give it a little bit more fuel. So originally I'm tuned on the ECU with ECU editor. So it reads boost, it increases my fuel trims off that. It wasn't quite correct where I lived. So I actually had a Power Commander 5 and I had a Pod 300. So what I've done is I've run my AFR right into my Power Commander, which you don't need for this. And then I data log with my Pod 300 and I clean it up with the Power Core and I just make little adjustments on the Power Commander, which, as you can see, this is the map I'm on right now. Really doesn't need that much. And this is just general, like this bike needs to go to a dyno so it can get the stuff, but I'm just doing it off logs. I need to clean this up. This is just kind of general, right? So anyway, first thing I do whenever you go to start these things, always let your AFR warm up if it's preheated. If you don't let this heat up, it'll give you a bunch of lean readings and you'll think your shit's running lean, but it's not. So while that's heating up, I'll show you how to add just a little bit of fuel so that it doesn't have the startup problem. So what you do is you come up here, open Power Commander Tools, configure, feature enables, and input selections. You're going to check the box for startup fuel like I have checked right now. And then under configure, you're gonna add the amount of fuel you wanna add. So my percentage is 6%. It's pretty high. I could probably bring it a bit down. That's where I started and it worked. So I just left it there. Runtime 20 seconds, really long. You don't have to have it that long. That's just where I had it at. For the mode, if you have your temperature running into your Power Commander, you can actually run it off engine temp, but I'm running mine off runtime because my engine temp is not running in my Power Commander. And once you've set this to whatever you want it to be, you know, use whatever you want. You just use what I used. Hit OK, hit OK. It'll apply the settings. Then you come down here and send the map. It'll tell you it's sent successfully. On the screen, this is how I test it. You'll have fuel adjustment right here. And you can watch that when it starts to make sure it's giving it what it needs. So this is cold right now, and it's gonna start and basically just sound normal. Keys on, switches on. And then we're gonna play this game where I have to put my phone down so I can pull in the clutch. you notice it came right up? And it's gonna give it that 6% until it gets to 20, and it's gonna kick it off. And by that time, you're coming back up to normal fuel. You know, and you want to be around like 13s at idle. So that's how I've been doing it. I might actually give it just like a little longer, like 30, because that's obviously not in 20 seconds. It's like some other time. So yeah, that's how you do it though, and that's what fixed my problem. So hopefully it helps you.